What is a labour agreement? A labour agreement essentially is a special agreement that is negotiated by your company with the Department of Home Affairs to outline a set of terms and conditions that will map out the way in which you sponsor people to Australia. It essentially is a special pathway to allow you to sponsor people on the temporary skills shortage or the subclass 482 or the new 457, and allow you to be able to supplement your Australian workforce in occupations that don't fall on the skilled occupation list currently. So if you are in a sector like the disability sector, for example, that is currently facing a huge skill shortage for workers, especially support workers, that occupation doesn't necessarily fall on the skilled occupation list, and it may be the case that you need to negotiate a labour agreement. If you're in something like exploration drilling, drilling does not fall on the skilled occupation list anymore. It did back in the 2012-2013 mining boom, but no longer does it fall on the list. So what needs to happen is that you need to negotiate a labour agreement with the Department of Home Affairs to be able to support people coming into Australia. So what exactly does that mean? So what that means is that there is a set of criteria that need to be met in order to be able to sponsor foreign workers coming into Australia. The first is essentially that you're a business of good standing. Business of good standing essentially means that you are, if you're in mining or construction or something like this, you've got, a zero death or safety incident record, or you've got some very strong safety or risk policies in place to support those things not happening. You're also actively and lawfully operating a business, so you have business, money running through, there's financial viability. No one in the corporate or executive team has any history of bankruptcy or fraud, anything like this. Neither does, the actual company itself. And they are the main things to show that you're a business of good standing. The next is that you can't undertake any, or you're looking to sponsor foreign workers to supplement, not completely fit out your labour force. So it might be the case that you've already got 500 Australian employees, but your next step now is that you've got, a constant shortage of maybe 20 people per year for the next 5 years. And so that's the people that your labour agreement will be for. But you will need to show why and how those people are the people that you've got a shortage of. How do you do that? Like you do with a normal TSS visa, you would need to do labour market testing. Labour market testing essentially is one of the requirements of the TSS visa, and what that requires is that you would go away and advertise on the government's job platform, on something like Seek, on LinkedIn. You might also do things like have a Facebook campaign, have your website posting ads, have a LinkedIn campaign by your staff, have an internal referral program. You might also go and talk to industry stakeholders or industry bodies that support your industry and find out any research that they've gathered as a result of industry members, and trying to understand what that actually looks like across the industry, not just for your company, but for other companies within that. In addition to all of these things, the next step is that you would also need to consult with industry stakeholders. So if there is a union that is a part of any awards that or EBAs that were negotiated within your industry, then they are the unions that we would need to go and consult with. The reason that we would go and consult with a union is essentially to tell them what we're going to do and get their non-objection to you pursuing this labour agreement or agreement with the government. Generally, if you can explain yourself, the reason why, what you've done to essentially, fill the labour shortages from Australia, and what your game plan for training Australians in Australia, even with this labour agreement in place. Generally, if you can meet those things and show evidence of those things, the unions will not object to you moving ahead with a labour agreement. Your industry stakeholders are also very important in this to try and get information access from, support, not access, from industry stakeholders to support what you're doing. So they might have research reports, they might be willing to do a research report. So they're the people that we'll also get in touch with. The next kind of thing is that we need to make sure that there's templates. So templates of things like this is a standard employment contract, this is a standard position description. These are the things that, the government want to see. You know exactly who you're going to employ, how many of those people, and the industry is supporting what you're doing. So they're mainly the key things that you're kind of looking at. Obviously, there's lots of other requirements. And down below in the links, what I'll do is I'll create a blog post with a little bit more information on labour agreements. And if you do need any assistance, please do get in touch. We love doing labour agreements. We love helping companies design these migration solutions to really help fill labour shortages within their companies. Thanks.